is Matt Frick. He's an author. He's written a book on Captain Thomas II, the pirate of Newport, Rhode Island, and he's also the curator of the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. So cheers to the crew, Mr. Henley, Mr. Longwood, and we are doing a very special episode. So first a cheer. Cheers and huzzah. This is a special episode. We have never done a Tuesday night episode, and this one's going to be very special because today in the United States of America, it is Anti-Superstition Day, which means that you can't be believing in superstition. But us pirates, we do believe in superstition. In fact, you were in the Navy for quite a while. Were there any superstitions that you dealt with while you were in the Navy, being on board?
In fact, when I was an ensign and first got onto my first ship, within the first week, the command master chief got onto somebody that was whistling in the keyway, the passageway, and he said only the command master chief can whistle. So I asked why, and then he told me why. It's a superstition of when you whistle, you're bringing in winds and then causing bad seas. So by doing that, but because the command master chief was a senior enlisted guy on board, he decided to make his own rules, and he was the only one allowed to do it. So.
Tonight, during the episode, I have 5 pages of superstitions, all of them nautical superstitions. We could have gone with a whole lot more. In fact, I did my research with a book that you loaned to me, but it was a lot of reading because it's very thick, and it came from the Mystic Seaport. And then I did some other research online and went to several different websites. So we did quite a bit of research for tonight's episode. I have 31 nautical superstitions for us to talk about, laugh at, make fun of, or take serious, however you want. But for now, though, Mr. Longwood said that he had a great quote for Anti-Superstition Day. A belief which leaves no place for doubt is not a belief, it is a superstition. Jose Bergman. Okay. I'll have to think about that for a minute. A belief which leaves no place for doubt is not a belief, it is a superstition. I don't know what to say to that one. I truly don't. And of course we do a question of the week, and we did one last night, but tonight we're doing a very special question of the week. Many of you in your childhood probably had a superstition that your friends passed along or you heard. I'll give you a perfect example. Step on a crack, you break your mother's back.
Yep.
Yeah, how many of you have moms with broken backs? I mean, it's just a silly superstition. But if you had a superstition when you were in your childhood, let's talk about them when we do a look at all of our messages and comments. But for now, do we have anything else, Mr. Davey, or should we just step right into it?
We can just step right into it, I guess.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You made a very special video for tonight.
Oh, okay.
Let's go ahead and play that very special video. Davey, how's our sound now?
Good.
All right. Very good. I hear a little bit of echoing, but let's see how we can do without it. So, ladies and gentlemen, those were superstitions that gave me another reminder. Never open an umbrella inside the house.
Yes.
It lets spirits into your home.
Hmm.
Superstition has been a part of our world, our life, our cultures since the dawn of time. But because we're pirates and men of the sea, we're going to talk about the ones that might more pertain to our lifestyle. And it just so happens I have them all here, and let me bring them in by starting by telling you this. Because of the dangers faced by sailors and fishermen, there were countless superstitions around for safety and luck of the sea. Some seem a little strange today, but from banning bananas to fear flat-footed people, here are our favorite picks from many of the European sailing superstitions. While most no longer apply, we're guessing that some still linger in some sailors' minds. The very first one, renaming a boat.
Yes.
Have you heard that one?
I have, and I knew about it since I was a kid. So,
Really?
but I've seen people rename their boats, and I was like, that's just horrible bad luck. And I didn't know you could do something about it.
See, we had and this would answer a couple of things. Let me see what's going on. Somebody, very good. Somebody's just popping up some information for Ancient City Con for me. No worries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what was I going to say? Oh, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers had a parade float, and it got named 3 different times. And I'm wondering if the renaming of it, it was originally Mayhem's Revenge. And then it went to another name when we had a different captain. He wanted to name it something different. And then a third captain came in and he wanted to name it something different. And from the point of time with the second and the third captain, the crew had nothing but bad luck. Truly, really did have a whole lot of drama going through it. I'm thinking I now know why. Wow. How about that? Man.
And that's, it derived basically because the name of a vessel is on a list kept by Poseidon, right?
Ah.
And so he knows that list. So if all of a sudden that same ship is out there with a different name, it's not on his list.
So it's not protected by Poseidon.
Correct. So if you perform a ceremony, and I'm pretty sure it's not written down anywhere, but if you do a ceremony to rename it, then the boat's on the list and everything's all well. So.
And just to prove to you that I brought the right man in for the job tonight to talk about superstitions of the nautical world, it actually says if you do rename the ship, you must have a renaming ceremony and officially rechristen the boat again.
There you go.
So there you go. So Mr. Frick knows what he's talking about, and I just happen to be somebody that knows who to bring in, that's all. What does Mr. Harker say? To counter the bad luck of renaming a ship, you must write the name of the ship on a piece of parchment. Place the parchment in a wooden box, burn the box, and release the ashes to the sea. Ah, that's pretty good. Did you know that one?
Oh, I like that one.
I like that one. That's very formal and very official. I like that. Thank you, Mr. Harker, for that one. That's a good one.
It's very nautical and piratey, too. I like that.
It is very piratey, very nautical. Here's another one for you, and we're going to just go down the list and talk about them. And if anybody wants to clue in, Mr. Hellfire and Mr. Youngwood or Longwood are paying attention. Youngwood, Youngwood will be your name when you get older. There, right? So, Matt, pick up a little bit on your speaking. Betsy says she can't hear you.
Oh, got it.
All right, and we put the microphone as close as we can, so we're doing the best we can. We're not sure what's going on. We've tried a new. We have a new camera attached to the system, and we're still playing around with it. So, Betsy, turn up your system too. Tattoos. When tattooing became popular at sea, a rooster or a pig were often tattooed on sailors' feet. It was believed these animals would prevent the sailor from drowning by showing them the way to shore. Popeye had the right idea with an anchor stamped on his bicep. The anchor was said to prevent a sailor from floating away from the ship should he fall overboard. while a nautical star was believed to help the sailor find their way home.
Correct.
So, you knew that one.
I knew that one. There's a lot of people I know that have that. A lot of the tattoos that sailors have now, other than the fact that everybody has tattoos now, but a lot of them have specific meanings, not to deal with superstition, but
To deal with their own personal life.
like crossing the line,
Right.
where the equator is shellback, and then any other instances like that, you might have a specific tattoo that coincides to that. So, not all superstitions, but I'm not sure I'd get any tattoos on the top of my feet. Even
No, I don't think I would.
kangaroos.
I hear that
That's gotta hurt.
the top of the feet are painful. I've heard that. But the tattoos of yonder days was probably more important to them than most of the tattoos that people get now, because people get tattoos for various reasons.
Absolutely.
So here's another one. Blood. It is unlucky to set off on the start of a fishing season without having first shed some blood, in a fight or an accident. And an accident on purpose, obviously, if you have to shed the blood. Yes, that's a good one. And fishing nets. When setting fishing nets, it is good luck to use an odd number.
Did not know that.
Didn't know that, and that doesn't make any sense because almost all shrimp boats only set out two, one to either side, port or
Yeah.
starboard. So they must not pay attention to that one. Now this one I found very strange and had to go look it up and add more notes to it. And we talked about it, Matt and I did, just before the show. And this one is kind of strange. Having the call, and I hope that's the proper pronunciation, and it's spelled C-A-U-L, call, of a newborn child on board a ship was meant to prevent anyone from drowning. This meant that calls were often purchased by sailors before a voyage. A caul is the harmless membrane that covers the face and head of a newborn baby. It is very rare. That's a strange one to me, and I've learned something now. A caul, and I hope I pronounced it properly. How about this one? And I wonder if this went on in the Navy at all at any time. Losing a hat overboard was an omen that the trip would be very long. Did you have that one in the Navy at all? Now, when
Not that I know of, because I know people topside and we all wore ball caps. Caps always went flying over.
Yeah.
So
yeah, lost your cap a lot on that.
Yeah.
Did you lose any?
I did not.
Never lost one. Very good. Very good. Eggshells had to be broken into tiny pieces once an egg was cracked open. This was meant to stop witches coming to the ship to sail in the pieces of the shells. Witchcraft. That's an interesting one, and I don't have a funny comment for that. Nightingale in Florida says the caulk of a baby has several superstitions associated with it. So is it caulk or call? Because when I printed it from the internet source that I was using, it used the word C-A-U-L. So were they wrong, or can it be either? If Nightingale can answer that, that would be very interesting. And let's put that one away because we just did the eggshell one, and that was, well, about witches, and who cares. Now, here's one. Call, C-A-U-L. Thank you very much. All right, very good. Anyone aboard who trimmed their nails, cut their hair, or shaved their beard brought bad luck to the ship. If you buy this one, we'd hate to see you and your crew at the end of the season.
Oops.
Anything to say on that one, Mr. Davey?
No, Captain.
No, all right, very good. How about, well, Henley, show Henley up there. Didn't he just get a haircut or two? Yep, there it is. Gunner Hellfire Henley got himself a haircut. Actually, it looks like he got quite a bit of haircuts all along both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. Well, good thing you didn't do it on board our ship. You'd have brought us bad luck. This one here is kind of a strange one. Flat-footed people were unlucky on board a ship and were also avoided by sailors before they boarded. I couldn't find any explanation to this. I have no idea. I couldn't find anything at all. I kept it because it was interesting to me. I didn't understand why.
Do flat-footed people have harder time with balance, maybe?
That's a possibility.
I don't know.
Especially, and you do have to have a sense of balance on board a ship, right?
Because maybe they'd be the cause of other accidents.
That's a possibility. Which brings us, we're talking about balance on the ship, and we're going to just stray back and forth through all of this. What type of ship were you on? You were a commander of a ship, right?
I was executive officer, but
XO.
Yeah. So I was on a old destroyer. I was on 2 different frigates, and then a minesweeper, and then of course been on sailboats and stuff all around.
So on the bigger Navy ships, which is bigger, destroyer or frigate? Destroyer.
Destroyer.
Minesweeper in between the two?
No, smallest.
No, smaller than that. Okay.
But a minesweeper, even though it's one of the pretty much the smallest commissioned ship in the Navy, is actually about the size of a Spanish galleon.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you happen to see, a minesweeper around, which pretty much they're all in Norfolk or San Diego
Right.
at this point, or the Middle East, but and you see them, then you get an idea. Wow, Spanish galleons were not that big, but for them they were big. They were huge.
So, out of the 3 types of ships that you were on, which one had the worst role?
The frigates.
The frigate?
Yeah, and they had fin stabilizers put in because of that. And so if your fin stabilizers weren't working, they're essentially along the hull, going down the length of the keel almost. And so they would mechanically move and adjust depending on the water. If one of your if one of your fin stabilizers went out, then everybody was puking. And so
So, it's not unusual to be in the Navy and to christen the side of the ship once in a while.
exactly.
Yes, I've been on board a few ships, the Black Raven, the Bounty. When I was younger, a couple of yachts and some sailing ships, some fishing boats. I've only been seasick twice in my life, twice, and it's a miserable feeling.
Yes, it is.
It's miserable. All right, here's one that probably the ladies watching will not appreciate, but we'll still say it anyway. Women were considered bad luck on board because they distracted the crew, which would anger the sea, causing treacherous conditions as revenge. However, conveniently for the male crew, naked women calmed the sea, which is why so many figureheads were actually women with bare breasts. So, if you're going to be on a ship and you're a female, you must be naked. I would think
we didn't make the rules.
that's right. I'm just reading them. We did not make the rules. I am just reading them, but I would think it would actually be the exact opposite. That naked women would be a bit more distracting. Yes,
you would think.
But oh well. So this one, it was an interesting one. This next one, and it was interesting because parts of it are seated in biblical history. And it is days that you should not be sailing or start a trip. And those days were Thursdays. It was bad luck to sail on Thursdays. God of storms, Thor's day. It was bad luck to sail on Fridays, the day Jesus was executed. The first Monday in April, the day Cain killed Abel. And the second Monday in August, the day Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. And 31st of December, the day on which Judas Iscariot hanged himself. Well, you can't sail on Thursdays, you can't sail on Fridays, the first Monday in April, the second Monday in August. Well, you better be careful which days you set out on.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. But I found it very interesting because it was seeped in biblical history.
Right.
In fact, Cain, Sodom and Gomorrah, Judas, and Jesus, 4 of the 5 reasons for not sailing on particular days are all Bible, all biblical.
And another one that everyone knows about, not days, but biblical references, Jonah.
Yes.
Jonah was a bad luck on a ship, and that could be a thing, could be a person.
Anything
But-
with the name Jonah.
Right.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, they would call it a Jonah.
A
So
Jonah.
there's a Jonah on this ship because there's bad luck. So we got to find who is causing the bad luck or what is causing it. So,
So-
some beliefs that I was reading too is that it's believed that Davy Jones, the Jones was a version of Jonah. So his,
Oh, that's a different- I've not heard that one.
Yeah. So his story. Is also wrapped into the superstitions that
Absolutely.
sailors knew about, and a lot of it through the Bible, because most of them did know the Bibles.
As I tell in my tours in the Pirate Museum, the majority, and we talk primarily about the golden age of piracy,
Right.
the majority of the men, the large majority of the men that were pirates during that 50 to 55 year time frame were 6 major countries: England, Spain, France, Wales, Ireland, Scotland. There were Portuguese pirates, there were Italian pirates, there were Dutch pirates, German pirates, Norwegian pirates, African pirates, even Far East pirates that were over there. But I'm not saying that there were no other nationalities, but the 6 major nationalities were those guys, or those countries. All 6 of those countries were Christian religions.
Right.
Either Protestant, Catholic, or a combination of both. So, for the most part, pirates were just as Christian as everybody else. And a lot of their beliefs and a lot of their superstitions came from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a hard press to not understand that. Watching your mouth. At sea, some words must be strictly avoided to ensure the ship and crew's safe return and could bring bad luck on board, including the words drowned, goodbye. If somebody says good luck to you, it is a sure thing to bring bad luck. And the only way to reverse the curse is by drawing blood. So usually a good punch in the nose will do. So if somebody wishes you good luck, punch him in the nose. Aye. And another one here. Things to do with the land were also believed to be bad luck if mentioned, such as church, pigs, foxes, cats, and rabbits. Saying the word pig on board is terrible bad luck, but then the exact opposite, not having enough bacon for the crew is even worse luck.
The alternative to pig was to call them a hog or a sow. So some other word.
As long as it
as
wasn't
long
pig.
As it wasn't pig.
See, I didn't know that one.
But
And-
that at sea, that goes back to the whistle, bringing bad luck and stuff. And one thing that I read is, and it makes sense, is that it was a bad luck word on board ship, and whistling was bad luck on the ship, but not on land.
Right.
So that's why there's so many British pubs called the Pig and Whistle.
The pig and oh.
Because they could be frequented by sailors on land, because it wasn't a bad luck thing because you're on land. It's only on the ship.
I wonder if that's why there's a whiskey that our good friend Leon drinks, the quartermaster to the St. Augustine Swashbucklers now. Once in a while drinks a whiskey called Whistle Pig. I wonder if that's where it came from. We're going to have to do some research on that. I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is. That's a good one. And here it is here. No whistling or singing into the wind. It was forbidden, as it would whistle up a storm, which is what you said earlier. Very good. Aye. Any comments? Just pop them up there, Mr. Davey, Mr. Hellfire. It was bad luck for seafaring men to have their wives call out to them or wave goodbye once they stepped out the door to leave for a voyage. Interesting, interesting. Stirring tea with a knife or fork would invite bad luck. And it's also bad manners. Nobody stirs their tea with a knife or a fork. That's bad manners. Aye, the queen would roll over in her grave. Aye. Turning a loaf of bread upside down. I found this one to be interesting. Turning a loaf of bread upside down once it had been cut brings bad luck too. These two seem to be superstitions that exist on land as well. So I guess If you cut a loaf of bread and then turn it upside down, land or sea, you're bringing bad luck. Now this next one I have a problem with, only because I didn't hear it this way, and it's almost the exact opposite, and that's redheads. Like flat-footed people, redheads were believed to bring bad luck to a ship. If you met one before boarding, the only way to mitigate the bad luck was to be the one to speak to them first before they could speak to you. Now I've heard another one about redheads, and that is if there was a redheaded child on the dock, many of the crew would rub the redheaded child's head for good luck for their voyage.
All right.
But that's pretty much the opposite of
Yeah.
you. Have I done any that are different from what you've got? I know you brought a list, so we'll do this one if we missed any because you got some.
And that's what I was looking at.
Yes. So salt. It was bad luck for one crewman to pass the salt pot to another directly. Presumably, one could put it down and the other could pick it up. No reason for this.
Yeah.
I don't understand that one, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. Fishy. In order to encourage fish to be caught, Scottish fishermen would begin their fishing session by throwing one of the crew members overboard and then hauling him back on. I wonder how they decided which man was going over. Who's going over? And better hope it's not got a strong current around you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about the Black Raven. When I was on the Black Raven and we first started, we were preparing for our sea trials, and we practiced man overboard. I was the man that went overboard, and young Scott, who I don't believe he's watching tonight, but he would be the man that would jump in with the ring and the rope and come save me. The current in the Matanzas Bay is pretty swift, and one of those days, by the time they got ready to come get me, I was over 300 yards down Matanzas Bay, hollering out. Thank God I had a life vest on, because I would not have been able to tread water that long. And they had to turn the ship around and full blast gun it to come down and chase me down. It was hilarious. The sad part of it was we did man overboard drills a half a dozen times just to make sure we got it right. When the Coast Guard came on board the ship, we had already been warned that the Coast Guard tester, I don't remember what his title was, but the man that was going to test our knowledge,
Right.
he brought out his clipboard and he said, all right, we'll do man overboard. Well, as soon as he started saying that, I started stripping down to my swim shorts and got on my life vest, and Scott was ready with the rope and got everything ready, and I was just about ready to jump in. And the man goes, no, wait, what are you doing? And we said, we're doing man overboard drills. He said, don't tell me you guys have been doing it for real. And we said, yes. He said, for this one, all I would have asked you is a few questions. But oh well. Let's see. Bananas. I had to actually go and look this one up because everybody's told this one, and this one, I understand it now after reading it.
Yeah.
Bananas on board. They were believed to be so unlucky they would cause the ship to be lost. Whole cargoes of bananas were especially frightening for sailors. At face value, this taboo doesn't make much sense, but it has been said that the reason for this is that the crew would slip on a banana peel left on the deck and fall. But why would you throw a banana peel on the deck when you could just throw it overboard? The real reason, the more likely explanation, involves lack of pesticides back then. Mm-hmm. And prior to being able to spray stalks of bananas with commercial-grade pesticides, sailors would bring entire ecosystems of insects, bugs, and spiders on board with their fruit that would be the cause of bites and infections for the crew. So that is the biggest reason why bananas are not allowed on board. And I will admit that now I actually know why. Yeah. Up until this point, I wasn't sure, but now I understand, and now I know why. Bananas are not allowed on board our ship. Not even if we're taking ice cream for banana splits. None.
On that line, though, what was allowed and what was encouraged was cats. You know, cats actually were good luck. So, oh, there you go. Look at that.
Yep, there we go. Cats were good luck.
Doesn't matter which color they are, because like the bananas might bring on stuff, guess what else does? Rats. And
Rats.
so the cats would be the ones that take care of the rats.
And knowing that there were cats on almost every sailing ship, you can come up with conclusions, educated guesses, so to speak. And that's really what history is about most of the time.
Right.
You take a couple of pieces of information and you piece it together and you go, oh, that makes sense that maybe this is true too.
Right.
So one of the things that I've come across in my thoughts, with all this history that I've been sharing now with everybody for the last 12 years at the Pirate Museum and 5 or 6 years before that, every sailing ship had cats, for the most part. It was common because rats and mice were common on board the ship. So it was easiest to have cats to take care of them. And since every ship had rats, you can make an easy leap of assumption that rats are pretty indigenous to every waterside country in the world, because they came from everywhere.
Yeah.
But here's the sad one for you. When any of these ships went, and some cats, some ships had more than one cat, obviously, for many reasons. Ahoy, Captain Smoo, I see you just signed in. Captain Smoo from Quebec, Canada. We're talking all kinds about nautical superstitions. So back to the cats. Many of the ships had more than one cat, for obvious reasons, kittens and everything else. But two things. One is a sad one that I just came to a conclusion that's kind of sad, and I share it with everybody so everybody else can be sad too. When all those ships went down, think about all those poor cats that went down too, and not understanding or knowing anything about why they're out in the middle of the ocean like that. A very sad consequence for them. But here's something else. One of the reenactors here in St. Augustine told me this, that the Spanish government gave tax breaks, so to speak. The easiest way to understand it is tax breaks, because the Spanish paid taxes. They were given tax breaks if they raised cats to put on board the ships when they came into port here in St. Augustine. So, like us in modern day times, we get a tax break for all the children we might have. They got a tax break for all the cats they might have. So here's another one. Pardon me. Rumor has it that stepping on board a ship with your left foot brings bad luck for the journey ahead. That said, either foot can be unlucky if the captain catches you boarding the ship with your shoes on. That one is just hilariously funny to me, because in all the times you boarded a ship, were you paying attention to which foot you got on board with? No. And did you ever go on board barefoot? No. I would think that maybe that was something barefooted pirates, but I would think in the Navy, no. So that one is kind of a funny one, and a far stretch, I would believe. Here's one that I take offense to. Pouring wine on deck will bring good luck on a long voyage. Maybe suggest a nice crisp Sauvignon Blanc, but don't waste the champagne. Unless, of course, you are launching a boat for the very first time, in which case tradition dictates smashing a bottle of fizz on the bow. So pouring wine on the deck will bring you good luck on a long voyage. I would think that that's wrong, because that's a waste of good alcohol.
I don't know where that came from.
I've never heard that one before, and I would really take offense to it if they told me pouring rum on board on the deck would be it, because that would be terrible. Let's see. Not pirate related, but Outer Banks fishermen will often give a fish to a brown pelican upon return to the dock, because pelicans were believed to be souls of fishermen lost at sea. Oh, that's a good point.
Yes.
And that brings me to one here, and I'll just jump ahead to it real quick. I'll come back to this other page. Welcome to lurking dolphins. Dolphins swimming with the ship are seen as a good sign. And oftentimes, many cultures believe that dolphins were the souls of sailors, pirates, and seamen that had been lost at sea, and they became dolphins. By the same token, beware of the lurking sharks. A shark or two following the ship is a sign of inevitable death. It's either that or the cook or the surgeon is throwing over body parts.
Yeah.
Aye. Let's see. Unlucky to start a cruise on a Friday. This is one of the more universal nautical superstitions believed to be rooted in Christ being crucified on Friday. Also, you should never start a voyage on the first Monday in April, and that we talked about in the biblical sense on one of our times back, and that was the day that Cain slew Abel. Here's one, a waste of good money, but throwing coins into the sea as the boat leaves port. Ever heard that one?
No.
Coins thrown into the sea as a boat leaves port is a small toll to Neptune, the sea god, for a safe voyage. But a stone thrown from a vessel putting out to sea ensures she will never return.
Oh, jeez.
And where would a sailor get a stone on board his ship?
I don't know. Yeah.
Aye, that would be one you wouldn't want to worry
Maybe
about.
he was throwing it over because he's like, "What is this on my ship?"
Yeah, what's this stone doing on board my ship?
I got to clean the deck.
Let's get rid of this stone. We don't have stones here. Aye. Here's another one that was kind of strange. According to superstition, flowers on board were considered unlucky, as it meant they could later be used to make a wreath for the dead. Today, not having flowers on board is considered unlucky. It means the owner will think you aren't doing your job. And we did talk about women being on board the ship. I duplicated myself there, so we don't need to talk about that one. We can leave that one alone because I do not want to upset the women any more than they might already be. Unless it was a lodestone from the bilge. Good point, Mr.
Yeah.
Ken. Good point. A lodestone from the bilge. That would be a good one. I like this one that Donna put up here, and I saw it earlier. I'm glad you popped it up there for me, Mr. Navigator. To this day, I will not tell what my bad dream was before I eat breakfast. My mother would not allow it. She said if I did tell it before breakfast, then it would come true. Yikes. Let's hope you didn't have a dream about Freddy Krueger. That would be terrible. My goodness, that is an unusual one. Zachary Harker also put up another one here. I usually don't like using goodbye. I prefer till we meet again, or may our paths cross again. I believe the Japanese word sayonara is pretty close to that same meaning. I lived in Japan for 3 years, and if I remember my Japanese right, when a sailor died, they were buried at sea, sewn up in their own hammock. The last stitch was passed through the nose in case they were in deep sleep. You knew that one?
Yeah.
I'd never heard that one.
To make sure they were
Make sure
actually
they were
dead.
To make sure they were dead before they threw them overboard.
Overboard.
I'm not dead yet. And if anybody gets that reference, I'd be happy to see it on there. I'm not dead yet.
Not quite dead.
Son of a gun.
I know the reference.
You know the reference? Good. We'll see if anybody else does before we actually come up with it. So, do you know what son of a gun was?
I did. I learned that. I read it, and that kind of went back to the women on board and stuff. And so it was okay, and sometimes they didn't. When they got on board, quickly, passions, I think was the description, might occur, and the next thing you know, there's
a baby.
Now somebody's pregnant. Yeah.
And so what they said was male children born on the ship were referred to as son of a gun because the most convenient place to give birth on the deck was the gun deck.
Okay.
If you weren't too afraid of having women on board your ship. Having a male child on board was a sign of good luck. Bad luck to have the woman on board, but if she's going to get pregnant and give birth, then it's good luck.
Then yeah.
All right, so I guess it counteracts each other. All right. Bring out your dead. Yes, Captain Ken Smith there, you're absolutely right. Very good, very good. Seeing a single raven means death is near. That comes from our Miss Kara Kramer. Very good. You don't want to go on the cart. Yes, Captain Morrow, you got it right. I'm not dead yet. All right, let's see. Here's one that almost everybody knows, whether you're a sailor or a man of the sea, or especially if you live in Florida. Red sky at night.
Sailor's delight.
Red sky in the morning.
Sailors take warning.
It is an old saying that goes this way. A red sunset indicates a beautiful day to come, while a red sunrise indicates rain and bad weather. Now, on board ship, did you ever find that to be true? Or do you even recall it?
No, we saw it and made note of it, but you generally were. It didn't matter. I mean, you were going wherever you were going, so yeah, you might know that it's there. But as far as on a naval vessel, maybe if I was on a sailing ship and I saw that,
You
or
might
a
would
sailboat,
change course.
right? I mean, in the Navy, we many times when we're at sea, we steer towards rain because it's a freshwater washdown, so you get it automatic, so it's washing get all the salt off your ship.
Yep,
and stuff
absolutely.
Like that, so.
That's a good point. I also know that, and it's one of the things I tell like our crew, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, or any other pirates for that matter, when we've got an event planned, and I've got some of the more worrisome pirates saying, it's going to rain, right? It's going to rain. It's going to rain. What are we going to do? It's going to rain. You're a pirate. We're outdoors. You're going to get wet. And we might pass the bar of soap around.
Yeah, there you go.
So we can wash everybody down. Here's one that goes without saying, but I think it would fall into any culture and any class. Pay your dues. Seamen that had not paid their debts were blamed for storms and any other misfortunate events that would occur on the ship. Aye. And this last one, somewhat superstitious, but there was extra things here that's not in what I found, but I copied this down because I found it interesting. A pierced earlobe on a sailor meant that he had sailed around the world or had crossed the equator. That I didn't know, and because I know there's other traditions for crossing the equator.
Right.
Shellback is part of it. Yeah, and you've got one.
Yeah.
Yes. So superstitious sailors wore gold hoop earrings because they believed it brought them good fortune. Some believed that gold possessed powers, magic healing powers, or that it served as a protective talisman that would prevent the wearer from drowning. Those I'd never heard. Here are the two I have heard. The gold earring for pirates was enough gold to compensate for their burial should they die. And the other one was that pierced ears served the same purpose as acupuncture and might relieve some of the symptoms of seasickness. Now, I'm not sure if that's...
I've heard those too. Yeah.
Now, I have both my ears pierced, and when I was on the Black Raven coming around from Tampa, one of those nights, it was pretty rough, and my pierced ears did not keep me from getting sick. It did not. I really did get sick. It was something. So, those are the ones that I found. Let's see, Nightingale in Florida says, witch's belief is seeing a flock of crows is good luck. But we all know that a flock of crows is called a murder. Yes, so maybe for witches that is a good thing. Aye. So do you have any that I might have missed?
Oh, just one that I found in this is kind of interesting given all the biblical sources for a lot of the superstitions that sailors had.
Absolutely.
Was putting a coin under the mast. Because
under the map?
Under the mast.
Under the mast.
When you're putting the mast in, then putting a coin underneath it. And then even if you replace the mast because it got shot down or lost in a storm or something, put a second coin down when you put the other one down. That goes back to the Greek belief of like putting coins on a dead person's eyes so that way you could pay the boatman to take the body to Elysium across the river Styx.
So the coins under the mast was the same thing.
Same thing.
Wow, that's an interesting one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That one deals in not just superstition, but in Greek mythology.
Right.
Yes, that's a very good one. I like that one.
And we all know one of the most famous, I guess, of bad luck, bad omens and stuff on a ship is killing an albatross.
Yes, killing it. I saw that and I didn't put it down in here, but killing an albatross is considered extreme bad luck for any ship, pirate, navy, merchant, fisherman. Don't do it.
And that was captured brilliantly in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole crux of the story there, yeah.
Very good. That's an interesting one. Very, very good. We've gotten some really good ones that have come in here. Let's see what else we have here. Cannoneers would use gold hoops to stuff wadding to protect their ears. So what were they using the gold hoops to keep the wadding in their ears? That's an interesting one. Also, a shark tooth necklace was said to protect the wearer from drowning or against sharks.
Ooh, I gotta get one.
I'm not. Some of these are very interesting. You just answered my albatross question. I missed your question there. If the birds are upside down, you're drunk and on the ground. I like that one. It's bad luck to mess with this podcast. Yeah, well, let's hope nobody wants to mess with it. I'm going to roll all the way back to the beginning here, just real quick to see if we missed any other good ones here. We've gotten a lot of good input here from everybody watching the show. You know what counters bad luck, don't you? More rum. Yes, Mr. Smith, you're absolutely right. That is very, very true. Let's see. Here is a Tuesday special. Cool logo. The cool logo is what Mr. Smith said was his Boy Scout Troops logo, which was a black arched cat over a red 13 for Troop 13. That would be a unique one. Let's see. To this day, we talked that one out. Can't hear. Hopefully the sound has gotten better. We'll work on it some more by next week, and we're going to talk about next Monday night's Talk Like a Pirate Day special event. But hopefully the sound has gotten better. Just to tell everybody what we're doing here, we've added 2 cameras to our podcast studio, so you can see me and my guests, but also at the same time, you can see the rest of the captain's grand pirate room. And as you can see, we have some guests already sitting down and watching the show. A little hard to see them, but there's 4 or 5 different skeletons. There's a dragon that's come in, and a wizard and a knight holding a sword. We're very lucky today. A supporter of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers donated to us for our use and for keeps 2 truckloads and 2 carloads of Halloween things. Davey took most of the skeletons, and there's a couple of them there, to his house so they can be outfitted with proper clothing, because we will be turning the ship down in the Colonial Quarter for Halloween into a big ghost ship, and it will have. Now Davey got 17 of the skeletons, and I had about 4 more, plus we have a few more, so we have about 24 skeletons. Davey Longwood's question is, should we use all the skeletons on the ship? And my answer is, the more the merrier. Let's put them all on board that ship. It'll be the most outstanding pirate skeleton crew ever seen in St. Augustine. So we will be doing that. But we got all kinds of other props and things to use for our event coming up, which we'll be talking about again next week and over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we want everybody to come out and see that at the Colonial Quarter on the 28th, 29th, and 30th, weekend of Halloween. Let's run on down through a few more here. You should also not speak the name of the dead out loud. Doing so would attract the ghost to you. Well, that's a good one. So many great input pieces here. It's so nice to have everybody here. During thunderstorms, my mom would throw white bread out the door to feed the devil, so the lightning and storm would not hit your house. That's an interesting one. And that was a Facebook user, so I'm not sure who that was that popped in with that. But that is a very good one. I like the one about the stitch through the nose. That's a very interesting one. And if they didn't yell out, I guess they were dead.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. Let's see. There's my references to Monty Python. I happen to be a huge Monty Python fan. Let's see what else we have here. Shark's Tooth Necklace we did. Albatross we talked about. Thunderstorms. Very good. Oh, It's Judy watching us from Facebook. Aye, that's very good. Thank you, Judy, for being inputting and watching our show tonight. We hope that you enjoyed the show so far tonight. We've given you now, ladies and gentlemen, 33 different superstitions of the nautical world. Seafarers, fishermen, pirates, and the Navy. Is there any others that we might have missed that you went through while you were in the Navy?
No, I think we hit pretty much everything because you try not to be superstitious, I guess. We had our own problems, so
yeah. And superstitions and the thought of superstitions goes into every culture, and every Friday the 13th. Every culture. In fact, I know sports figures that they have to wear two different colored socks when they play baseball, or they have to wear a certain article of clothing every time, and it can't be washed and things like that. So everybody has their superstitions. I bet car drivers in the Indy and the Daytona 500 and all the other NASCAR, I bet those guys have superstitions that they probably abide by too. And even in the pirate movie, Pirates of the Caribbean, the second one I believe it was, they made some reference to the witch, the sea witch, and then started throwing salt and sand and clapping their hands and spinning around and so superstition is in every culture, and it is quite interesting that a lot of them are very similar. A lot of them have the same similarities or the same purposes, and it makes for a very interesting show. And we've been talking about doing this show just to name these off and talk to them and have some fun and giggle and laugh at them. And we thought that everybody would like that. And that's why we decided to do it. And when I found out that today is Anti-Superstition Day, well, how bizarre for us to do it on Anti-Superstition Day. Let's break the curse of anti-superstition and talk about superstitions. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we decided to do. So, I didn't see anybody, well, I did see a couple of answers to people that when they were growing up, their superstitions were taken care of as children. That was a good one. So, Mr. Davey, what do you think? Did we cover it good? I'm going to start a new superstition for this podcast. It is superstitious and bad luck if Hellfire Henley utters any words during the show. Hi, what do you think of that, Mr. Longwood?
I agree with that, Captain.
All right, very good, very good. All right, so we've had a good show. Let's kiss a black cat to break the curse. Yeah, I see problems with kissing a black cat, especially if they don't want to be kissed.
yeah.
Yeah, two things I see with that one there, Nightingale. One, you got to be able to catch the doggone thing. And two, you're taking a chance of getting your face clawed. Aye. So we've had some good input from everybody here. I'd like to thank everybody that came on board to catch this extra show. It will download to our YouTube channel. And we have some people that have offered to help us and work with Mr. Longwood to put some more interesting thumbnails on some of our podcasts once they go down to the YouTube channel. And that makes it even more interesting for you to watch. I do want to talk about our podcast for next Monday night, which is September 19th. Now this week, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the St. Augustine area, Captain Mayhem, Davey Longwood, Hellfire, you coming into town for the weekend?
No, I won't be able to,
All right,
unfortunately.
very good. And the Swashbucklers quartermaster, Mr. Pugh, will be at the Ancient City Con Friday from noon till 7, Saturday from 10 till 7, and Sunday from 11 till 6, I believe it is. And we'll have a podcast studio set up there to do some taping with, we're hoping, some of the celebrities. Go to ancientcitycon.com and you'll see all the different celebrities. About 7 or 8 of the actors from Stranger Things will be there. Barry Bostwick, right, Mr.
Yes.
Longwood? who many of you may actually remember from.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
There you go, Rocky Horror Picture Show. He will be there. He also did Spin City. It was a really good comedy about the mayor of New York, and he played the mayor of New York, and so it was another one that I enjoyed watching of him. A couple of stars from Star Trek will be there, and Vanessa Branch, our favorite female wench from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, will be there also. We're going to try to get her on camera. Our plan is, and if you come as a guest to the place, our plan is to have a table set up with our cameras and allow people to sit down with Captain Mayhem and talk for 5 or 10 minutes, answer a couple of questions, tell us what you're up to, and have a good time. And then we're going to take all of that and edit it all down into a whole weekend's worth of shows. I'm pretty sure it'll be a very, very long episode because we plan on trying to get as many as we can in the 20-some hours that we'll be at the ancientcitycon.com. Come on down. I know that Master Pugh is a great leather worker, and he'll have a few things that he wants to put up for sale. And I have a few things that we're going to put up and make sure that people that are doing cosplay or costuming or whatever, we have things for them. So come to, pardon me, come to our booth and enjoy Ancient City Con with us. Take your pictures with us and have a good time. We're looking forward to a whole weekend. And then on Monday night, Talk Like a Pirate Night. Well, it's actually Talk Like a Pirate Day. And here's what's going on. First off, it is Scarlett Deerheart's birthday. Now, she's not online tonight. I don't see her there, but it is Scarlett Deerheart's birthday. She is a born on Talk Like a Pirate Day baby. So we invited her to come to the studio with her better half, and they will be here on camera with us. But we've opened up the door, and we're going to have several other pirates from several of the crews here in St. Augustine, the Swashbucklers, Shiver Me Pitchers, Scarlett's crew if they're in the area, Seawolf Privateers, and a few other pirates to come over. And we're hoping that maybe Mr. Frick will be able to come over here after he closes down the museum that night and hang out with us, because here's what we're doing. I've put the call out to pirates all over the country. We're going to extend the night of our show from an 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock show to an 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock show. We're going to actually run it for about 2 hours. And what we're doing is putting the call out, and any pirate captain, crew, or pirate party anywhere in the country, if you're having something going on in the same time frame that we're having something going on, Mr. Longwood, the Navigator, will send you a quick link, and you get about 5 to 15 minutes to talk with us and say, Happy Talk Like a Pirate Day. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The two pirates that started this whole shenanigans of Talk Like a Pirate Day, Old Slappy and Chumbucket, they actually are going to make an appearance on our show. At least one of them is, for sure. I've talked to Tom Mason. He'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. He has a private gig that night, but if he can swing it for 5 or 10 minutes, he's going to, and we'll have him here. I'm hoping my good friend Captain Smoo up in Quebec would be able to maybe pop in for a few moments to say hello to all the pirates here and let us all wave and have a toast to you, too. In fact, if we do a toast for everybody that does that, I plan on being pretty inebriated by the end of the night, because I'll toast with every pirate. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Mayhem and the Captain's Quarters podcast is doing what we consider to be an entire country, coast to coast, pirate, talk like a pirate, shenanigans, and fiasco. A fun time for everybody. We may even start it just a tad early. Mr. Longwood, think we might want to start it at 7:30 to make it easier for our California brethren?
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So maybe we'll start it at 7:30, but the announcements will go out. We'll let you know. And we want you to come and have a good time. If you're pirates here in the area and have caught us, come on over and hang out with us. A good time will be had. The missus is already making some plans on a very piratical display of fine cheeses and meats to go with your rum or your wine. So we want everybody to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do this unless we thank our sponsors. So, can we do that real quick, Mr. Longwood? Thank our sponsors.
Sure. Oh, crew member, sorry.
There it is, right there. Very good. Since we're doing things a little different tonight, we have to give Davey Longwood the consideration that I did not write a script, and we're just having a good time tonight. All right, so we would like to thank Ancient City Sirens. They always support us with everything we do, and I just did an event with them. And we have Dick's Wings, Paper and Strings. Now, I know Paper and Strings could not be watching us tonight because they play music over in the Tampa area on Tuesday nights at one of their favorite places. And so they're out busy doing what they do, which is grand music. That is Adam and Christy. Shiver Me Timbers, she didn't come on tonight, but she's one of our proud sponsors. Colonial Oak Music Park, and of course the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. Those are our sponsors who help us make sure we pay the bills. We are getting ready to start sending out letters for sponsorship for 2023, and we'd love for anybody and everybody to be sponsors of this show. You might want to sponsor a segment of the show every evening, or you might want to sponsor the show in its entirety. Whatever we can do to get you to be a sponsor, let me know, or let Davey know, or send us an email. I do have a gift from Mr. Matt. I don't believe I gave you one of these last time. This is our Captain's Quarters poker chip. It's a $100 poker chip, not worth $100. I think it's worth less than $1. Sorry about that. But on the back side is our sign-off logo, and on the front side is the Captain's Quarters skull and crossbones, and that's for you to keep in your pocket and hang on to.
Thank you, Captain.
It's kind of like a challenge coin.
Or a good luck charm.
Or a good luck charm. That's it, a good luck charm. We can do that very easily. Is there anything we missed, Mr. Longwood?
I do not think so. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, we do want to talk about our Patreon. You can be a Patreon guest or member. It's a crew member. If you go to the Patreon website, patreon.com, and put in that user number there, or just go to patreon.com and put in Captain's Quarters Podcast in the search. You'll find us, and you can be one of our Patreon members. We have 6 Patreon members now, ladies and gentlemen. 1 Powder Monkey, and it costs them $1 per month off their credit card of their choice, and we have 7 First Mates. That's 8 Patreons, ladies and gentlemen, 8 Patreon supporters. And I'm letting you know right now, if we get 2 more, we make it to 10, and Davey, I think we need to put a stipulation on it. I think it needs to be all First Mates.
Okay.
First Mates. So we need 3 more First Mates. Once we have 3 more First Mates, we will then put all 10 names in a hat and pull one on the air so nobody thinks any shenanigans are going on. And that one person will get a actual cartoon drawing of themselves by our guest from last week, the sketchy guy of Nevada, who has done our logo and some of our other caricatures here for the podcast. So let's get 3 more and see what we can do. Could make a fine Christmas present for somebody, and we want you to be a part. We also have followers on YouTube, 227, and that's a good thing, and we hope that we can get more than 227. My goal is to see 250 by the end of the year. You think we can do it, Mr. Longwood?
I think so, Captain.
All right, what do you think, Mr. Henley?
I think so, Captain.
Aye, very good. As long as we keep that energy up, Mr. Henley, we might hit 300. Thank you very much, sir. Aye. Well, I think we've had a good show tonight. And we actually, once again, we went over the hour because we had some fun information. We had some good times. Mr. Matthew Frick has written a book called, what's it called?
A gold chain, a gold chain, a wooden leg, and a treasure chest.
And a treasure chest. And ladies and gentlemen, it's about Captain Thomas, too, who in the Pirate Museum, we have his pistol, his cutlass, and his treasure chest in the Pirate Museum. So if you have not come down to the Pirate Museum to see him, come down, say hello to Mr. Matthew when you're there. And if you buy one of his books, I bet he will sign it for you. We keep them pretty well in stock, and they're all there. My YouTube says you have 237 subscribers. Mr. Longwood, have we not been keeping up?
I think so.
Aye. Well, very good. We need to check. 237, that's 10 more than we had. Well, look, we're almost at 250.
Almost.
I only need 13 more. Hey, Hellfire Henley, get on it right now. 13 more, aye?
Aye, sir.
Very good, very good. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for us to sign off. We thank everybody for coming on board to watch the show tonight. We hope you had as much fun with us, and we hope more so that maybe you learned something tonight. Because after all, that's what we're hoping to do with this show, is to teach people something or share information that everybody learns from. If you learn something, say aye.
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 And we cheer you, and it's time to do what we do best when we sign off Mr. Longwood.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always, we appreciate your patronage. Thank you very much. Until Talk Like a Pirate Day, cheers, aye.